Welcome, students. I welcome you for the third part of my video topic History of Indian Arts. Now, my dear students, in the previous video, you have seen what is art, what is Drik Kala, what is Lalit or Angik Kala. We have seen various styles of art. We have seen art of painting, folk style of paintings, classical style of paintings. We have also seen sculptures and architecture. We have seen the Nagara style of the north. Then we have seen the Arvedian style of the south. We have seen the medieval period, the architecture in the medieval period, the Islamic architecture. In that we have seen Qutub Minar, which is in Mehrauli near Delhi, Taj Mahal, Agra, Gol Gumbaz, Bijapur in Karnataka. These are the famous ones of Islamic style. We could also see, or we have also seen, certain Indo-Gothic architectural style, the churches in Goa, okay, and then certain churches and government offices and residence of top officials in Mumbai. We have seen the old name of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Railway Terminus, Victoria Terminus, which is the finest example of Indo-Gothic architecture. And this Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Railway Terminus, Mumbai, is the finest example of World Heritage Site. Now, my dear students, we are going to see now India's tradition of performing arts. Now, when I speak of India's tradition of performing arts, it is believed that India has independent and varied tradition of folk songs, folk instrumental music, folk dance, folk theatres, which are the characteristics of every particular region. Now, since we are living in Maharashtra, I would like to give examples from Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, there are these dances or folk arts are the integral part of religious festivals and social life. To name them, few examples are Koli dance, Tarpa dance, Dashavatara of Konkan, Pawada, Kirtan, Jagar Gondal. These are the few examples. Now, my dear students, we could also see there are traditions of classical performing. Now, this question they may ask in the board exam. What do you mean by classical performing arts? So please pay attention. India has a rich heritage of classical performing arts too. The text of Natya Shastra, written by Bharat Muni, is supposed to be the earliest one discussing music and theatre. In the Natya Shastra, they have discussed about 9 moods or 9 rasas. They are as follows. First, Shingar, love. Hasya, humor. Bibatsa, repulsion. Raudra, terrible. Karuna, sad. Veer, heroic. Bhayanak, fearful, Adbhut, wondrous, and Shant, peaceful. These are the 9 moods, which is while performing an art. Now, my dear students, we will see now how Indian people came in contact with cultural traditions of other nations and resulted in blending in many streams in the presentation of Indian performing art, enriching over time. Many styles of presenting classical, vocal, instrumental music, dance came into existence. Now, my dear students, it is believed there are 2 branches of Indian and classical music, Hindustani and Carnatic. Similarly, there are 2 forms out of it. There are 2 forms. One, classical, Shastriya, and semi-classical, Upashastriya. The semi-classical includes many styles of folk music. Now, my dear students, a beautiful blend of 3 forms of music. I repeat, a beautiful blend of 3 forms of music, vocal instrument, dance, can be seen in various Indian classical dance form. Examples: Kathak of North India, Lavani of Maharashtra, Odissi of Odisha, Bharatnatyam of Tamil Nadu, and Kathakali and Mohiniyattam of Kerala. In India, post-independence period, various festivals of music and dance are organized with a view to make it accessible to common people. Many people attend this festival, including Indians and foreigners alike. The best example I would give it from Pune. The Savai Gandharva festival of Pune is a famous one. Lately, we can see inclination towards experimenting and creating of various fusion music styles have come. When they are creating it, there are certain limitations imposed by the traditional styles or schools. I would like to mention the example of Shri Pandit Uday Shankar. He is a prominent name among such artists who created a new style. He successfully created a fusion of music, Indian classical dance, and European opera. He also included various forms of folk dance in his style. Thus, the scope of presentation of Indian performing art seems to be constantly expanding. The same phenomena is apparent in the field of Indian visual art. Now, my dear students, we will see now the applied art and professional opportunity. Now, we have a doubt whether there are professional opportunity for the people who has a history background with art. Yes, my dear students, there are a lot of opportunities. They are as follows. Art historians can work in the field of journalism. A person with a good historic background, he can work as a journalist for Times of India, Indian Express. Second, art market is an independent field. It calls for special expertise to access the exact value of art object or to ensure that it is genuine. An expert with deep understanding of art history is required for this task. Third, heritage management and cultural tourism are recently developed fields. In these fields, the students of art find many professional opportunities like working in museums, archives management, library, science and information technology, archaeological research, research in Indology are some of the important fields in this regard. Now we have seen applied history in the previous video. In the same way, we could also see applied art. Now when I say applied art, the visual and performing arts are primarily looked upon the means of entertainment for the people. The artists perform primarily with this purpose. However, there is a scope of combine an artistic creation with utility value to make it economically viable. Now I would like to give examples related to the applied art. The first one is industries and advertisements, interior designs, and the production of ornamental object, art designs of backstage drops, directions for films and television, creating attractive layouts of the book, magazines, calligraphy, production of greeting cards, invitation cards, customized stationeries, gift objects are the field of applied arts. I would like to give one of the examples is now when you are trying to depict Ramayana and Mahabharata, you cannot show anything modern over there. You have to show traditional, and that is only possible by a person who is expert in art history, and that person can do well. Now my dear students, there are a few other things, there are a few other opportunities, professional opportunities are there related to applied arts. The field of architecture, photography is also a part of applied arts. Nowadays, still and animated graphic created with the help of computer are used for various purposes. This is also applied art. Ornaments, artistic creation of metal, earthen pots with colorful designs, object made from cane and bamboo, beautiful glass objects, attractive textiles and clothings are also listed under applied arts. Every field mentioned above requires great detailed planning and meticulous management of every stage of production. It is essential to employ trained and skilled individuals at every stage. Some of the production process of artistic object have a history of certain traditions. The development of every productive process has its own history. Hence, the syllabus or a training course of art design include history of various industrial and cultural tradition. Thus, my dear students, I would like to conclude this lesson by saying that there are few institutions. Now, if you want to pursue the applied art and related to art some professional opportunities, there are few institutions in India who offer technical and occupational training in the above mentioned fields. Among them, one of them is National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, is the world renowned institute. This institute has introduced online courses since 2015. Thus, I conclude this lesson of history of Indian arts. Thank you, students. I hope this will be helpful to you.